So I want to give you a few examples of how we've used this framework in the past year. So ELLI, the Effective Lifelong Learning Inventory, I'll give you an example with building global skills, and also an institutional example using the GRIT survey. And we are also thinking about using it with threshold concepts and ethics. So last fall, I teach an LLED college reading course, and we paired that with the 3-credit environmental science course. So students learned reading skills, and everything we learned was applied to the environmental science course. And at the same time, we wanted to work on those learner attributes that we knew were giving students some challenges. So we found the Effective Lifelong Learning Inventory, and that's really where we used this process of self-knowledge. They took the inventory, which was a 72-item survey, and it identified their strengths in 7 areas of learning power. So things like critical curiosity, resilience, creativity, things like that. And so we would start with their knowledge, self-knowledge from what the survey showed them. We'd go into a cycle of reflection, action planning for change. What are some goals? How, if they want to get stronger in creativity, for example, how could we plan for that? And then coaching, so either through me as the faculty member, or peer, or even self-coaching. And then along that process, we would be planning to build this common language of lifelong learning in the classroom. And we were quite successful. So pre and post, students took the LE survey again at the end of the semester, and we saw significant improvement for students in every area except learning relationships, which we only did the last week of classes. So I feel certain that had we had more time, they'd have also made great gains in that area. So this is what started me to think that this process could be really useful, and how could we use it in other contexts. So in a 400 level management course, I've been working with the professor, and every time he runs the course, he reaches out to some large company like Siemens or IBM, and he gets a project. And so the students in the 400 level management course act as project managers and liaise between the company and then their technology team, which are students at another university in India, to do the project for the company. And every semester, the faculty member felt that these students on both sides were very challenged in terms of their working together, and so their knowledge and kind of global skills, and he was very dissatisfied with that. And so he came to me and we talked about it, and I said, hey, let's try this process because I think it's similar and we could actually make a difference. So I asked him to identify some concrete areas where he thought they could use some work. He did. And then we tried to design an instrument that would help students know where they are in each one of these skill sets. And so to do that, I used kind of the model that if you've ever applied for a government job, you'll see that they ask a series of questions with knowledge, skills, and abilities, and they ask you to rank your level of expertise in each one of those areas. So for example, when it comes to communicating effectively at a distance, how do you rank yourself in this skill? So either you have no experience, a little bit, you have some experience but you can do routine things, you have a lot of experience, you generally don't need help, or you're the expert, people come to you to learn to be trained in this area. So they do that, and then they, just as importantly, come up with a concrete critical incident, something that's happened that illustrates that skill that really happened in their lives. And so the two of these are really important. And then they go through the rest of the cycle, through reflection, action planning, coaching, and then they do the questionnaire again at the end and look at the change over time. And the third example is an institutional context. So we are right now challenged with retention like everyone else. And so we are using the GRIT survey. If you're familiar with the Angela Duckworth work on persistence, you and have seen her TED.com talk, you'll be familiar with this. It's a free survey, so we're using it in our new student orientation, and then we will, as a group, as a campus, come together, understand what the data is telling us. We're looking for a predictive model to target some of our students in the upper SAT ranges who we know are struggling for reasons other than ability. And so we'll go into a reflection cycle, some action planning and coaching via conversations among different groups on campus to build this common language of student success, but also using data for ongoing improvement processes. And so just to review quickly, at this self-knowledge piece, we talked about the fact that you could buy a tool, which we did with the Effective Lifelong Learning Inventory. We've done it with the ACT Engage survey and the National Survey for Student Engagement. Or you could find a freebie like GRIT or the CEI2, which is a tool that measures curiosity. Or you could make a tool, so the knowledge, skills, and abilities ranking, or continuum, so where you put any of the criteria that you're looking to change, and you have a sliding bar of, this is a lot like me or this is nothing like me at all, and you get students to identify where they think they are on that continuum.